Hello there, and welcome back to Remaining Calm through October. I'm your host, Karin Del Maestro, your health and calmness coach, also breast cancer and BRCA2 thriver. Today, we are talking about creating a safe space. Karen, what does that mean? Well, the way that I like to look at this is when you walk through the door to your home at the end of your day, or even if you're working from home, does it feel like a hug? Does it feel like a hug? Does it feel like you walk through the door and you just go, oh, I'm home. I'm safe. I can breathe. Or are you walking through the door and feeling like you're walking on eggshells, frustrated, anxious, stressed out, and unable to find that calm space? Now, before I say anything else, I've lived in both of those places, by the way. I've lived in both of those environments and I know the difference in how it feels. It's got nothing to do with the size of your home, how big your home is, or how small your home is, or how glamorous your home might be, or how simple your home might be. For me personally, the simpler my home has been, the smaller my home has been. Granted, the people that are in the home with me has changed, but that's actually where I have felt more safe. But it doesn't have to be about your whole calm space. So I don't want you to think that right now, if you're walking through the door and you feel like you're living on eggshells, or perhaps you're dealing with clutter, or perhaps because you've been going through surgery, you've got piles of mail that need to be taken care of, or treatment. It's okay, right? I'm going to invite you to not judge yourself. What would you say to a friend? It's okay. It's okay. This is something that we get to observe and say, okay, well, maybe I don't like the way that that feels. So at some point, when the time is right, I get to shift something. So please do not think that this is about having a perfect home. In fact, I rebel against that word completely, because I think perfection puts so much pressure on ourselves. And as somebody, I call myself a recovering perfectionist because I lived in that perfectionist mode where everything had to be just so for years, decades. And I think part of finding that calming, safe space is me finding that within myself, where I'm not beating myself up or feeling like I have to always strive for perfection. I think that for me, that has been a huge shift in finding that safe space. So keep that in mind, right? So having a designated space within your house, now it might, like I said, it might not be your whole house. If it is, that's fantastic, but it isn't for everybody, and that's okay too. So if that is not your reality right now, it doesn't mean that it always needs to be your reality. Things can change. You might need support for it, and that's okay. Reach out. You know, I'm here. But you can designate a safe space within your overall space, somewhere that's just set up for you. Might be a corner of a room. It could be a picture. It could be in the bathroom. It could be a spot in the garage or in the garden, right? But what's important is that in your space, there's a place that you get to go to, much like the spot that I find in nature. It's almost like creating your own spot in your home. So it's even more accessible to you anytime, night or day. Could be a spot that you go to if you're coming in from work. If you're working from home, perhaps it's a spot that you go to as a transition before you're getting back into the day-to-day stuff of being at home. I work from home. I'm fortunate in that our home that we rent is on a canal. as you've learned, water is really important to me. And so my transition from working at home to getting on and making dinner or taking care of whatever else is to go to the dock on the canal, have a cup of tea. If I have time, if I don't, I'll just go there and take 5 breaths. But that's my safe space. I create spaces throughout my home. If you are watching this on video, you see a chair behind me in my office. That's also one of my spots. I love to sit in that chair and just have a cup of tea or read a book. It's finding a space and creating a space that feels like that hug. It might be your favorite chair with a comfy blanket and a book next to you where you get to sit and curl up and have a cup of tea and relax. It could be perhaps in the bath where you create this ambience that you enjoy with some lighting and some toxin-free candles and music. That could be your safe space, right? Lock the door. Don't let anybody else in. It could be, I know that some of my clients, their space is on their porch or patio, and they've just created this beautiful feeling of that's their spot. That's where they go. And this can be created anywhere in your home. Now, one of the things that I learned, my husband and I have moved house 7 times in the past 8 years. So as you can imagine, this theory of creating a safe space has it's become a habit, right? It's become a practice and something that I've certainly learned to do very quickly. But I don't know if you're familiar with Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo, and you can watch her series on Netflix called Tidying Up. But it kind of all started with, and I always mess up the name of this book, so forgive me, but it's something like The Magical Art of Tidying Up, or The Magical Japanese Art of Tidying Up, something like that. And I'm sorry, I apologize if I'm butchering that. But, and I remember reading that book before my husband Mike and I made a big move from New Jersey to the Caribbean. And one of the biggest concepts in the book is about every item in your home bringing you joy. And so you can imagine, as we were selling up everything that we owned, pretty much, to move to the Caribbean, we both went through that process and said, does it bring me joy? If it brings us joy, either one of us, then it gets to come. If we're not sure, it's going to go onto another pile and we'll deal with it later. Obviously, it gets tough with sentimental things, but there are just some sentimental things that you're saying, no, that's my heart. That's what I want. That's part of what makes me feel calm in my home, is the presence of that. But if it doesn't bring you joy, what is it bringing you? Aggravation, right? Is it making you feel uncalm? The opposite of how you really want to feel? You can do this in your closet, right? Get rid of the clothes that don't bring you joy. Hang on to the things that do. You'll notice a huge shift in your attitude in your home, right? Yes, we have to have things like printers or washing machines, and those, they don't bring me joy either. But they do bring me joy in the fact that they make my life easier. So there's a different way that it's bringing me joy. But make sure that artwork around your home brings you joy. Make sure that cushions on your sofa bring you joy. If you're a colorful person, but your home is drab, then are you being reflected in your home? Because that safe space that I speak of is also one that brings you joy. They're so closely linked. And I have so many little areas around my home. We've got a sectional sofa out side in our lanai, and I love to just sit out there, have my cup of tea. Right? A lanai is like an outdoor porch for those of you that don't know, right? Down by my dog. I love our bedroom. I take a bath almost every night. It's not a fancy house. The house that we live in is actually an older home. It's not that. It's an ambience, a safety, a calmness that I feel in these places in my home, even in my office. I love the calmness that I feel when I'm in my home office. It's a safe place for me. It's a place that I love to be. And I think part of that is because I love, I truly love from my heart and soul, and it's my passion and my purpose, the work that I get to do every day. And so think about, how can you create calmness in your life? Do you need that cozy blanket? Do you need some ambient lighting? Do you need a cute cup to have your cup of tea in? What can you repurpose with what you've already got already that's tucked away that you want to see more of? Don't save those things for a special occasion. The special occasion is today. Wear your clothes, wear your shoes, use your fancy china. Create the life that you want where it feels good. Okay? So today, your calm action of the day is to identify a space in your home. It could be a little tiny corner. It's okay. But identify a space in your home. You may even already have one, but you haven't literally kind of put a name tag onto it. What's your favorite spot? Is it where that light comes in the morning and it just hits you on the face and you lift your head? Is that it? Right? Where in your home can you transform into a safe and comforting sanctuary? Think about that. Think about that. And if you want to ask questions on that, then pop over to the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. We'll continue this conversation. It's such a cool one, right? Think about creating that space for yourself. It's not about spending a lot of money. It's about reusing what you've already got, but make sure that you're bringing only things that bring you joy into this space. That's the key. Thank you to Marie Kondo for that one, because she changed my life for sure. So let's end up with our calming practice. Left hand over heart, and imagine, if you will, the power of doing this exercise or listening to this podcast in your calming space. It multiplies, right? Because you are mindfully changing your intention. I'm going to sit in my space, safe space, and I'm going to listen to these calming tips. You are multiplying the reaction that you're feeling in your mind, in your body, in your health, just by doing that. Okay. So left hand over your heart, right hand on top. Oh, taking a breath. Holding your heart and saying to your 10-year-old self, repeat after me, either outwardly or silently in your head, sending this message to her. You are loved. You are safe. I've got you. I love you. Until next time, have a safe and beautifully calm day. Bye for now.